everyone. Welcome to Pop Crime TV. I'm Lauren Conlon. Today, I want to briefly dive into the Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate scandal lawsuits. Just a wild story that's been unfolding across literal continents. And I feel like I should be covering it. I feel like this has taken me way too long. So I want to provide some high-level recaps and just some commentary. Quickly, Andrew Tate, he is a former kickboxer and an influencer, I guess. And he and his younger brother, Tristan, have been in the spotlight for years, gaining millions of followers, literally millions, with these misogynistic takes that they have and this brash commentary that they have on social issues. People at one point seemed to like it, I guess. But things got real for them in December of 2022 when Romanian authorities arrested them, and the charges were heavy. These charges were human trafficking, rhymes with grape, and forming an organized criminal group to sexually exploit women. And Romanian prosecutors allege that the brothers lured these women to Romania with the promises of relationships, marriage, only to coerce them into participating into paid rhymes with corn content. And sorry, I'm saying all these words like corn and grape because I don't want to get strikes or shadow banned on YouTube. So, also Andrew Tate faces an additional grape charge tied to one alleged victim. So the Tate brothers, they hold dual US UK citizenship, and they've denied everything, claiming they're innocent. They are misunderstood victims of a smear campaign. Okay. And if you guys follow me, you know that I don't necessarily side with all women. I did a live recently where Jack Fox and I, Never a Truer Word video, we discussed that you should listen to every single person that makes allegations, and then you can form your own opinion. I mean, obviously, we have the court of law that helps us form those decisions that are made based on these allegations. But I mean, I personally, my opinion is I think the Tate brothers are disgusting, and I don't think that they are victims of a smear campaign. Justin Baldoni, yeah, I think that he is a victim of a smear campaign. So far, that hasn't gone to court. But again, my opinion. So I want to quickly play a part of this really disturbing resurfaced video from 2012. It was circulating on X, and this was when Andrew Tate was about 25 years old, and he was screaming and doing some things to a young woman who was allegedly a minor. Her birth date was 1997 per this one report. And again, this took place in 2012. So yes, she was a minor. And I don't have factual proof. I don't know for certain that she was a minor. I have not seen this girl's birth certificate, but the video is disturbing nonetheless. And if she truly is a minor, then it's even more so. So I'm going to play this video, or part of this video. Oh, if you can see it. Again, I'm not going to play the whole thing. I don't want any strikes here. And you know what? Maybe I should make it a little bit smaller because it is so disturbing. But I think it's important for everyone to see or hear if they haven't.
Tell me you love me. Say it like you mean it.
I don't know why it keeps stopping. Sorry about that.
Say it like you mean it. You message one other guy ever again, whether we're together or not together. You understand me? You understand me? Say it then. Say I understand. Say
okay. I can't play any more of this, and for whatever reason, it keeps stopping, and I feel like it stops on purpose. It is very disturbing for those of you who are listening and you weren't able to see this. He is yelling at this young woman and he's hitting her. And you know what? I'm going to put a link to the actual video in the episode notes so you can see the whole thing, because it really is heartbreaking. And there is one point where she appears to be sobbing and crying, and he doesn't care. So back to what's going on recently. For over 2 years, when the Tate brothers were arrested in Romania, they were stuck there. They had very strict travel bans. So first they were in jail, And then they moved over to house arrest. So, and then they were under very strict judicial controls, meaning they had to check in with police and regularly. So, a first attempt at a trial hit a snag this past December of 2024, when a Romanian court tossed the case back to prosecutors over procedural issues. These are a little bit unclear to me, these procedural issues, but it seems like a second investigation into trafficking minors and other crimes kept them on the hook, which is why the case wasn't dismissed as a whole. So then, surprisingly, in February of 2025, Romania randomly lifted their travel ban out of nowhere. So the brothers, they just set off on a private plane to the US, landing in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And this was in, again, February of 2025. So a lot of us were like, wait, why do they have this sudden freedom? This case, even though there were some issues with procedure, there's still a case against them in Romania, and they really should not be allowed to travel, especially outside of the US. So speculation swirled that possibly, maybe, the Trump administration leaned on Romania just a bit, maybe through Richard Grenell. At a Munich conference that was earlier that month. That was what was going on in the rumor mill. But Trump has said he knows nothing about it. He's denied everything. But this definitely has raised some eyebrows. And I've asked a few of my sources that are very close to the Trump administration, and they haven't responded. The Tate brothers are Trump supporters, but personally, I don't think Trump wants anything to do with them. He hasn't said anything about them. I mean, but again, it's weird. This is all very, very weird, the timing here. But, and I keep saying but, sorry. Ron DeSantis, the governor of Florida, he is a Trump ally, I guess, at this point. Excuse me. So the Tate's arrival to Florida, they did not get a warm welcome from Governor Ron DeSantis. And Ron DeSantis told reporters, Florida is not a place where you're welcome with that type of conduct. And also, remember, if you were not aware, the Tate brothers have actually filed claims against their accusers, defamation claims in Florida. So Ron DeSantis made it very clear he was not looped in on their February 2025 arrival. He found out through the media, not through the feds. And then he tasked the Florida AG to figure out whether or not the state could take any type of action, because he's like, they should not be here. So by March 4th, the AG announced an official criminal investigation saying that they'd executed possible search warrants and subpoenas for possible crimes on Florida soil allegedly committed by the Tate brothers. And this is potentially tied to the lawsuit stemming from a woman claiming the Tate brothers, tried to coerce her into sex work after luring her from Romania to Miami in 2021. So Ron DeSantis has said, and the AG has said, Florida does not tolerate trafficking or abuse, period. So Andrew Tate, of course, with his big mouth, fired back, calling DeSantis a clout chaser, and said that he caved to media pressure. On a podcast, he said, and I'm paraphrasing, that he's an American citizen, which he is, with no conviction, saying, quote, I've never been tried after 3 years. And he taunted DeSantis on X, daring him to arrest him. Well, I mean, he's trying. They have an investigation into you, dude. They're trying to arrest you. So the brothers, they ended up staying in Florida for a few weeks, but by March 22nd, they had to go back to Romania for some legal obligations. So Florida's investigation into them is ongoing. And Tate has said, no, it's settled. It's all settled. It's gone. But Ron DeSantis is like, no, it's not. Also, there are charges against Andrew Tate in the UK. And remember, he is also a citizen in the UK. So 4 British women have accused Andrew Tate of rape and coercion. And there's also an extradition request waiting for him in Romania once that whole thing is done, once that case is done. So I want to point out something else before I play another clip from Twitter. The Tate brothers filed a defamation lawsuit in Palm Beach County Circuit Court against Jane Doe, accusing her and another woman of giving fabricated evidence to Romanian authorities and conspiring to defraud and falsely imprison them. This is from the 2022 charges. So, I mean, it's a pretty wild lawsuit, and I can link that out in the episode notes as well. And I should do a deeper dive on this lawsuit and go through it. And I should do that probably sooner than later. But they respond to a lot of these allegations against them in the lawsuit, and the suit has some really nasty quotes of what Andrew Tate has said in the media and on podcasts, and these are literally his own words. And I want to pull something up to give you an example, because this really, in my opinion, outlines the enterprise that he was forming with human trafficking and pornography. So let me just share this with you guys so I can read a part of this quote. I will make myself a bit smaller so you can see this. Quote, this is Andrew Tate. It's hard because women have to want to work for you. Women have to want to obey you. Okay, it's hard, and this is one of the biggest misconceptions. I really want to clear this up. People in movies and stuff, pimps are like aggressive, mean men, complete opposite. Pimps are more like James Bond. James Bond's a pimp. He sleeps with a girl to get information. He doesn't care about her. He is absolutely a pimp. He doesn't hit her. He makes her love him. She does what he wants. He uses sex as a weapon to reward her, and then he disappears. James Bond is absolutely and utterly a pimp. Okay, we get it. So I say pimp because everyone calls me a pimp online. It's like no beautiful women wanted to work for me, and they wanted to work for me because I displayed supreme competence, and they knew they worked for me, or if they worked for me, they'd make a lot of money. So whenever I was out, I'd meet a waitress and say, well, look, you're working 10 hours a day for pennies. You can work 10 hours a day for me and make 10 grand a month. Makes 10 grand a month, 20 grand a month. And over time, I just am building up this big little empire of webcam girls. At one point, I had 4 locations and 75 girls working for me. End quote. Let me remove this. Yeah, I mean, that's not a great look, and there are way more quotes that I should go through, but that seems like that seems like a coerced pornography empire, and that is again why this case is not officially closed. So there also was a tweet, and it didn't age well for Andrew Tate. And look, there's a lot of tweets that don't age well for him, but this one in particular pertains to a lawsuit. And this lawsuit was the one I was referring to, where he is suing Jane Doe, among others, for defamation. And this one tweet, he says, yeah, depression isn't real. Yeah, he just says that. He's so stupid. But in his 2023 defamation suit, he claims Jane Doe, also Gabby, made a man named Dustin Milner take his own life, and she acted irresponsibly. I'm paraphrasing, knowing he was susceptible to depression, which it's like, wait, you just said it wasn't real unless it suits you or it suits your narrative. But anyway, this Gabby or Jane Doe, she was a minor when she had a relationship with Dustin Milner. She was 17, I believe, and he was 35. And yeah, it's really sad he took his own life, but Andrew Tate is so ridiculous. You got to hear what he or how he and his lawyers phrased this in the lawsuit. And I loved this clip of what this guy said on X, and I'll link it out in the episode notes. Let me play the clip because it makes so much sense here. All right. Can you see this? Pulling it up. Okay. So this is Andrew Tate's. Remember when I said depression wasn't real 7 years ago and everyone lost their mind? Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Look at this clip.
Again, if called to testify, Jason Milner and Adam Heinrich would likely state that Dustin Milner quickly became enraptured by Gabby's mystique and seductive. She's underage, guys. What the hell?
Seriously.
Which lured him into an extremely volatile relationship. So Gabby allegedly manipulated, gaslit, and emotionally abused Dustin Milner, a person predisposed to depression. However, go down a little bit, eventually driving Dustin Milner to take his own life at the age of 35 while still in a relationship with Gabby, who had yet to turn 18. And if you just read exactly what kind of triggered this level of depression, he literally just got ghosted. She just didn't respond, and that's what sent him over the edge. And I'll say it's tragic to see somebody lose their life, but I honestly find it difficult to feel bad for somebody who is 35 years of age interacting with a minor. Guys, why are we even defending somebody that was 35 plus, knew better, and underneath Florida law would still be violating a second-degree felony? Why? I get it. It's a tragedy that it happened. Somebody took their own life. How you expect...
By the way, I don't think anyone was defending this guy. I just think that, I mean, this is them grasping at straws in a lawsuit.
Me to feel bad for a scumbag like that is beyond me, okay? Now, of course...
Yeah. So I liked that clip. This guy is, what is his handle? His handle is, it's Rome's at D's hands. So I will, I'll link that out in the episode notes. But yeah, I mean, again, I'll try to do a more in-depth video with some of the lawsuits and everything, but this is just a total mess that seems to just be getting messier. And I'm very interested to hear another side of this, not from the Tate brothers, but from somebody defending them incessantly. Again, I am not sitting here saying, oh, believe women because they're women. No, I'm just saying a lot of what I've read here with these allegations, they seem extremely credible. And I feel so bad for the survivors or the alleged survivors of the Tate brothers, because it does seem like they went through a lot. So, all right, guys. Hopefully you feel like you learned a little bit more about the situation with the Tate brothers if you didn't know it already. So I will be back for, again, more of an in-depth episode going through some of the lawsuits line by line. But if you like this podcast, don't forget to rate or subscribe wherever you listen. Subscribe to me on YouTube at Pop Crime TV. And I hope you all stay safe, stay vigilant, and I will see you next time. That 9-dash line. And Ted Cruz said, look, if you're not into geopolitics, you won't notice this. I mean, hello.